Good evening, everybody. You're welcome to this week's FX Outlook for the 7th to 11th of August 2023. So, as always, we're going to start off with our economic calendar for the new week. So, going into the new week, well, the market looks calm until Thursday when we are going to have CPI. It is going to be a major market mover. Then on Friday, we also have core CPI. No, core PPI. But that of Thursday is going to be very, very important because you have CPI and unemployment claims. So we need to be very much aware of these. Then on Friday, we have gross domestic product news for the British pound. So this is what we are having. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday seems calm until Thursday, Friday when the party starts. So let's get down to our chart. So I'm going to hide all my drawings. So looking at US 100, we're going to start with the US 100. Long term, this pair still looks bullish. Long term, let's keep our mics on mute, please. Let's keep our mics on mute, please. If you have any question, you can either type it in or you unmute yourself to ask. But if you have a noisy background, it's best you type in so that the noise from your background doesn't disturb people. So thank you very, very much. So long term, this still looks bullish. But if you switch to the candles, if we switch to the candles, we can see we have what looks like price is at this is not a breaker, this is a mitigation. So that's where we have price at this neckline. And we have this like, let me hide my indicators. So what we have here is price is at this weekly bullish order block. No, sorry, bearish order block. That's where price is. And price has reacted from it. But long term, this pair on the weekly is still sorry. Long term on the weekly, this pair is still bullish. If we go to the daily, we're looking at a retracement on the daily. This low has been broken on price. So we're looking at a bearish situation on the daily on this pair. So we're looking at a retracement. And if we look at where price is now, price is within. Please let us keep our mics on mute. Please, 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 people. Let's keep our mics on mute. So looking at this on the daily, price is sitting. We already have a change in market on the daily below this 15363.9. Price has closed well below it. Price has closed well below it. No offense taken. Thank you. So price has just closed below it. So that confirms the change in character on the daily. So if we'll go back now to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that there has been a retracement and then price is now back to this low. So going into this new week, this may still move lower, but that will be dependent on previous week's low. That will be dependent on the previous week's low. Let's go back to the candles and see how last week's candle closed. If you look at last week's candle, you can see it closed as a bearish engulfing, but it closed this weekly fair value gap. And if you notice, it didn't close below it that much. It just stayed at it. Let's look at it. This high on this is 15279. The close on this is 15279.8. 15279.6. So you can see it closed back above that fair value gap. That tells you that this has a potential to still rally into the new week. You're going to see a correction into this bearish fair value gap going into the new week. So just like I said, we will watch this here. We'll watch this here. And looking at this, let me remove my indicators so that we can see what I'm about to point out. Now, on the daily, we have a volume imbalance here. That's on the this US 100. We have a volume imbalance here. As you can see, there's practically nobody here. Although we could say that it is further up here, but due to the absence of bodies here, we'll call this a volume imbalance. But if you drop down to the 4-hour time frame, you're going to see it very clearly here. So this is where it is on the 4-hour time frame. So looking now at this, there's a possibility price may try to retrace into this, because if you look at where price now, price is at the lower range of this 158142 to 15247.5. So if you're going to be looking for shorts to continue in line with the prevailing trend, you just put your fib like this. And if you look at the 68, this is where you'll be looking for shorts from 1560.03 to 1552.0.8. Because if price comes in on Monday, so this is what we're going to expect on Monday. The possibility exists that price may spike this low on Monday. The possibility exists that it may spike this low on Monday. So there's a possibility we may see something like this. Then if this happens, if price spikes this low, closes back into it and gives a change of character, then you might see price come here. But if price leaves this low intact and retraces, then let's go to the 1 hour. Let's see if we have any. Now you see all this imbalance here. So that is where we'll be looking for price to retrace to. If price gets rejected, then you will then be waiting, taking a short position, targeting this low, previous week's low. But on this pair, I believe what I would like to see, because already if you look at it on the 1 hour, there's already a change of character here. At this point, there's already a change of character. Let me switch back and see there's already a change of character. This low is still standing. So this low, this is like a breaker. This is a deep retracement. But if you look at this low, is still standing. So this may rally. So if you get evidence here, if you get bullish evidence here, you can take a long position into any of these fair value gaps. Then if price gives a bearish evidence, you exit, because the overall order flow on this pair is to the downside. So if you're taking a long, be well aware that you're on a counter move and you should know where your possible exit points are. So that's it. So this pair, order flow on it short term, that's 4 hour down, is on the downside. But going into the new week, there's a possibility we are going to see a retracement and then a move back to the downside. As long as price does not close below this low here, that's 15247. As long as price does not close below it, it may spike it, but it must not close below it. If it spikes it, then there's a possibility it's going to really seek this to rebalance this place deeply. So the next pair we're going to look at is a DXY, that's a dollar index. So looking at this pair, let's look at this. On the weekly, let's keep our mics on mute, please. Let's keep our mics on mute. Let's keep our mics on mute. On the weekly, this is still tilted. Order flow on this is still to the downside. That's long term. Medium term, we are in a retracement, medium term. retracement medium term, that's on the daily time frame. Then if we go to the 4-hour time frame, short term, where order flow is on the downside because we've already swept this low. And if we look at candle formation, let's look at candle formation for this pair on the, we can see that price has a long rejection and the daily closed off as on the daily time frame. This kind of formation is what you call a morning, no, an evening star formation. It's an evening star formation. It's bearish in nature. So if we go back now to what we have here, this pair, if you notice, it was a fair value gap here, and say price slightly closed below it. So for the dollar index going into the new week, we're expecting a retracement to probably fill this imbalance here, and there is a bearish order block here. This bearish order block is important because it took out this low. So if you're waiting for dollar weakness to continue, you'll be looking at price from 102.39. So you'll be waiting for price to get there. If it gives you bearish evidence, then the dollar weakness may continue going into the new week. That's for the dollar index. So the dollar index, short term, 4-hour down, we're looking at a continuation to the downside. So what I would like to see, or what, because you can't tell what the market is going to do, we'll prefer to see a little bit of a retracement that might create a fair value gap between the high of a retracement that will create a fair value gap between this should be Thursday's low and Monday's high. Then on Tuesday, price will then spike into that fair value gap and probably continue to the downside. That will be the outlook until Thursday, Friday. Till Thursday, Friday. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the Euro USD. So looking at the Euro USD, long term, this still looks to be in a corrective move, because if you look at it on the weekly, this is down, this is the impulse move down, so this is a corrective move. So on the long term, this still looks to the upside. Medium term, as on the daily, we're looking at a retracement, which would a retracement of 1.0833 to 1.1275. So technically, medium term, this is still bullish until this low here is taken out and the low is still standing. As you can see, price dipped into that fair value gap and gave a morning star candle formation on the daily from this fair value gap. So if we go now to the 4-hour time frame, we can see the 4-hour time frame, we already have a change of character here. You already have a change of character here. That's this high has been broken by price with significant momentum, and we have this bullish order block here with the fair value gap. So going into the new week, we'll expect a bit of a retracement, probably to fill this partially or completely, but price must not close below 1.0958. Price must not close below it, so that this will still act as a support level. Then if that happens, we'll be looking at price to come in to fill this 4-hour fair value gap. If it goes beyond it, because we already know we have a bearish order block on the 4-hour. So if this happens, you'll be waiting for something from here, probably up to this point here, as 115 pips up to this point. Then if price decides to really get very, very strong, then you'll be looking at 1.1149. So that's what we have going into the Euro USD for the new week. GBPUSD, GBPUSD, let's look at the order flow. Well, if we look at the weekly, the order flow is still looking bullish. The order flow is still looking bullish. We have a swing high already in place on the weekly. So as long as this low here at 1.2311 still holds, technically on the weekly, this is still bullish. Then the next we're going to be looking at is the medium term. That's the daily time frame. Looking at this on the daily time frame, when a bearish situation, a retracement of 1.2591 to 1.3142. So if we look at the candles, we can see that price just spiked into this this down close candle here and retraced, creating a sort of a morning star formation. A sort of a morning star formation, because if you look at what you have on the GBPUSD and what you have on the euro, you would notice that this up candle closed above this high and held better than the GBPUSD. See the GBPUSD. The GBPUSD didn't take out the high of this down close candle. This is still bullish, but it's not as strong as the EURUSD. Why is that important? It shows you that you will be better off with longs on euro than on GBPUSD. So looking at this pair, we're going to be waiting for a retracement. We're going to be waiting for a retracement. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame. We're going to be waiting for a retracement, probably into this bullish order block. Let's go to the 1 hour. We have a change of character on the 1 hour already. We have above here and here. So we'll be waiting for a retracement, probably into this 1 hour bullish order, bullish fair value gap, or this, and then a continuation. If it starts to play out, your first TP is going to be 1.2805, then 1.2818. That's closing up of this fair value gap. Then if it continues higher, we have 1.2872. Let's look at the 4-hour. Well, we don't have any significant fair value gap. So probably if this continues, you might take out 1.2890 if it continues with that much strength. Because if we look at this on the 4-hour, this is still tilting to the downside. But we might see a corrective move of this impulse down. So that's what we'll be trading going into the new week. The next one we're going to look at gold. Looking at gold, long term, this pair is still looking bullish. This pair is still looking bullish long term. Let's look at this. It's still looking bullish long term. That's this low to this high. Let's see what price did. I can see 62% retracement, bounced off it, sitting on the 50% now. And if you look at that, it held above this 1 hour, this weekly fair value gap here. So if we go to the daily time frame, order flow on this is still tilted to the downside, although it has bounced off this fair value gap. So we're going to see a bit of a retracement. We're going to see a bit of a retracement. So going into our short time, if we go into our 4-hour, you can see that the 4-hour price is not making new highs yet. So what we are looking to trade into this new week is a retracement, a probable retracement and a continuation, probably into this range between 1982.26 to this low here. So we'll just be waiting for the retracements, probably to fill this imbalance. If it gets very strong, then probably price may take 1972.45. So going into the lower time frame, so the 1 hour time frame, we already have a change of character. Good close up. 1929.61 has been swept by price, creating a kind of a breaker, a bullish breaker. So you'll be waiting for a retracement down because price is being checked by this 4-hour bearish order block with the fair value gap. You can see price has not closed below it, above it on Friday. So there's a possibility there's be a retracement. So for that retracement, you'll be watching this point to this point. So this is where you'll be waiting for price to dip in. If price gives bullish evidence here, your first target is going to be to fill this 4-hour, this 1-hour fair value gap. If it becomes very animated, then you'll be targeting 1954.88 first, then this other fair value gap here. But as long as price stays below 1972.45, it might still continue to the downside. So that we are aware of that, because if we look at price on the 4-hour time frame, we don't have a new high yet. So technically, we are still bullish. But if on Friday, maybe going into the new week, you get a good close above 1954.90, then on the 4-hour, we have a change of character. Then we can expect higher prices towards 1972.45 and 1982.26. So for you to confirm a change bullish move on the 4-hour, you need 1954.88 price to close above it on the 4-hour. Then that will confirm a change in bias. So you'll be looking for something like this. This, then this, then to this point. So that's it. But going into Monday, we're expecting a bullish situation going into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on gold. The next one we're going to be looking at is EURGBP. EURGBP, if we look at the order flow on the weekly, it's down. The order flow on the weekly is down. Price is just retracing this point to this point. That's what price is retracing. Price is trying to retrace it probably to come to this fair value gap. Long term on the weekly, that's from the weekly upwards. If we go to the daily time frame, just like I pointed out last week, this daily time frame, there's already a bullish change of character here. And see this low to this high, there's a breaker, a bullish situation. Then price has made a new high and we have a higher low here. But the candles are not looking very interesting. The candles are having wicks. They are not holding the close near their high. So, and then we have this daily bearish fair value gap, bearish order block here. So this pair may still try to retrace a bit. It might still retrace a bit, except we get a big momentum close. A big momentum close taking out this bullish bearish order block. Once this bearish order block is taken, then that move higher may be seen. If not, this may just retrace and probably range. But medium term on this pair is still tilting to the upside. So let's look at it on the far. You can see it's still tilting to the upside. But my concern there is the candles are not, they're having wicks on the highs on the top side. That's not a good sign of a momentum move. So we'll wait and see what this pair has to offer. And if we look at, we have this unmitigated 4-hour fair value gap here. So we might see price do this, something like this. Then we might see a move up. So that's what we're looking at going into the new week on EuroGBP. Short-term order flow on this pair is still bullish, but we might see a retracement before a continuation to the upside as we have this unmitigated 4-hour fair value gap here, bullish fair value gap here below price. The next pair we're going to be looking at is GBPCHF. There's basically nothing to see on this pair. If you watched last week, if you were here last week or you watched last week's review, this pair is just basically in a range. Just basically, he first break above it, 1, 2, 3, then dropped. So this pair is just basically in a range, but I think this pair will still move lower. It will still move lower. Let's look at it. Long term is not going anywhere. It's in a range on the weekly. Medium term, you can see is still in a range, medium term. We have a change of character, bearish change of character below 1.1313. If we go to the short term, that's a 4-hour. This is an impulse now, this is a consolidation. The question now is, it has failed to go up with enough significance. So what is his next play? And if we look at this 4-hour, we have this low here. So there's a possibility if this may just sweep these lows here and just try to retrace, because this 1.1060 is holding. There has been no major close below. So this may just rally to fill this fair value gap and probably move back to the downside. But for this pair is in a range. So if you're trading it, just wait for price at the extremes. So that will be 1.1235 to 1.1058 area. So if price comes down to this level and does not close below here, you wait for something like this, then you go long towards this area. Then if price comes to this place and gives you something like this, then you go down short. So that's just how you play. Don't take a trade in between the range. It might not go out so well. So that's it. This pair is still in a consolidation. Then the next pair we're going to be looking at is the JPY. This pair is, just like I pointed out, I don't need to go too high. This is a dealing range from last week. This is what I have last week. You can see price came here and dropped. So short term on this pair may still go down. This pair may still go down, but it may rally into this fair value gap before moving lower. Hello? Hello, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah. Screen, no.
I can hear you, sir.
Can you see my screen now?
No, I can't see your screen.
I see your screen is just blue.
Can you guys see my screen now?
You are not sharing your screen. You are not sharing your screen.
I'm coming. I just had a power outage on my end. So let me just screen sharing is loading. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
You can see GBPJPY on my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so looking at this pair, that's the pound yen. The possibility is that we might see a rally into this fair value gap and this bearish other block on the 4-hour. If it holds as a resistance, then we might see price try to fill this imbalance. But obviously, price may still likely come down to this area. Price may still likely come down to this area, because if we go into the daily, we have a daily pattern. This low has been taken. Price didn't make a new high, rejected. So this may just rally and then drop back down to this level. That's for the pound yen. Then the euro yen, if we look at the euro yen, the same setup. It seems to have left what looks like equal highs here. So this has a bearish formation. If I switch back, this has a bearish formation. We have a change of character here. The only thing that will change this bearish formation is if we get a good daily close above 158.04. But what I believe they may do is something like they spike this, then continue back to the downside. So that's it for the new week. Is there any pair, any question, any pair anybody will want me to look at before we call it a night?
BTC.
Who is asking for BTC?
It is I.
Okay, you always ask for this BTC. Let's look at what my view from last week is still in play. Remember what I said? I said you're going to get the rally first and then price will go back down. Remember I said I was thinking that price will sweep this high. But if you notice, it just rallied up to this fair value gap and continued down. So if you sold from here after they swept all this liquidity above here, you'd have made some money. Or if you bought, because there's one thing with this type of move, if they sweep buy side, that's if they take out the loose and give you a bullish formation, you could have bought up or you wait to take down. So for now, this is in a consolidation and my long-term view of this pair still moving down is still in play. Because if we look at this from the daily, just like I pointed out, if you look at this from the daily, there's a breaker in play. High, low, higher high, and this. So this may still go down. It may still go down. If it's going to go down, this 50%, it may touch it. This to this 62%. So that's the situation we have. Although this bullish fair value gap, yeah, I think the equilibrium is pausing price. Yes. If you notice, price is pausing there. So if price goes below this, closes below this with momentum going into the new week, then we might see a continuation down. But for this pair is still down. So even if this pair takes out this high, for it to continue bullish, you need to see something like this. This high, they have to take it out, stay above it, then the continuation to the upside will continue. So any other question? Somebody is saying EURNzd. Ew, those are pairs I don't trade. Those are pairs I don't trade. Let me just briefly look at it. Not traded. That's where you see it. That's where I have that pair. EURNzd. This pair is bullish. Other flow on this pair is bullish. But let me look at it from the weekly. Well, the weekly other flow on this pair is singing bullish. They might take out this high. 1.8038. They might take it out. Most likely. It's going to take it out. It's going to take it out. We have this high here. We have this high here. So if this runs, if this really runs, if this shows strength, is where price will be coming from. Then if we go down now to the daily time frame, price may sweep this. Price may most likely, if it sweeps it, you'll be looking for a short from this zone. So for this pair, if it retraces, it's an opportunity to buy. If you're looking for a sell, it has to be within here. If you're looking for a sell on this pair, it has to be within here. So there's an unmitigated fair value gap here. So if these highs must be, this zone here has to be left intact by price. That's the game plan. That's this very high here. There's a high here that has not been tested. Let me go back to the daily time frame. That's this high here, 1.8083. This high here. Price must not go above it for your bullish continuation. Price must not go above it going into Monday. So this is what you'll be expecting. Probably if they knock out 80.70, then they drop into this fair value gap here. And you know this fair value gap has an order block here. So this will be where you'll be looking to take a long position, targeting into this zone. Then if you're waiting to sell, you wait for them within here. So my time is almost up. So I thank you all for taking your time to attend. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend ahead and a blessed trading week. The recording will be posted on the YouTube and the link sent to your various channels. So thank you all and good night.